artifacts and
you can see
a lot of that.
And there's that
there.
old church down there.
Yeah,
real
that
old little church.
was always there. Yeah, I mean that was being used down there.
There's a wall where they painted some part of the history of Quebec on it. Do you remember that? If you walk, here's the old town, and you walk up the hill to the chateau.
Yes.
As you're walking up,
Yes.
that one building has all this stuff on it. So.
No, it's nice.
Oh shoot, we're over 9 minutes. Okay, well we'll do a 15-minute. We're trying to shorten these down because it's a little easier.
Well, you still
we don't have a lot of time. Okay, so we're talking about Quebec. So
we were talking about photography too. Oh no, it wasn't there. It was in Montreal and Chateau. No, it was in Quebec. I took art classes.
Yeah.
And there was this wonderful studio area at Art Colony across the bridge there.
On the other side?
Yes. And they did art not way down there. It's like where the big bridge is directly over there. There's a little town, Saint Benoit or something like that. And they have a big art colony there. I remember that now. And they were really good painters there. I think there's like a school of Quebecois type painting.
I would not be surprised because
not just a local artist.
It's a town that's just north of Quebec where they have all the painting. Oh, jeez.
Where you
I
went?
was just there and I forget.
Yeah,
just north of Quebec.
I don't know, but anyway.
Anyways, there's a big, everyone goes there because of all the galleries.
Okay.
I told you about that. No, I can't remember the name of the town.
Is that where Bernier's auditorium is?
No, that's a little bit further north.
Okay.
But not by much.
One of the big conductors was Francois Bernier, and he was from, that town up there, St. Paul. I think it's called. That
was where that hall might be, but that's
where the hall. No, but that's where he was from there, and some of the musicians in the orchestra at that time were from there. Okay. So now they have built this beautiful big auditorium because he's dead, and they dedicated it to him, and they have big music festival up there all summer.
I drove through that town, but I didn't stop. Although they had a chocolatier, they had a chocolate store, which I saw. But I wanted to go down the hill because that's where they have this old marine vessel museum, and then I took the ferry across to that little island, which I don't remember the name of that one is either.
We're really bad.
But anyways, they have this old bakery there, which is 200 years old, and I stopped in and I got a little pastry with chicken inside of it, and they had fresh bread.
Like a pie.
A pie, because in Quebec they have all those tarts, right?
Yes.
The poulet, tarte de
poulet.
And I sat outside there because I of course had to speak French.
Yeah, that's great.
And she said, "Well, go sit out there outside."
Yes. Oh, nice.
So anyways, but yes, the hall is up at the top of the hill, and if you go down to the bottom of the hill, that's where the Maritime Museum is.
I think along with that festival, they have a big art and photography festival too, because I looked online.
That whole area, people drive just up there, and they have like wine tastings at the galleries. And people come from Quebec on the weekends to go to all these places.
And I'm sure they come from all over northeastern United States.
Yeah, there were Americans, from New York and New Jersey and stuff. I remember that I stayed at one of those bed and breakfasts further north of there, and there were several American ladies because they're like, "Can you translate this menu into English?" But anyways, so they all do. They come to see the art, which is very Quebec. And then they buy local food.
They're really into that. I mean, there's art things around here, but they're so like basic, and because you don't have the culture here that you do in the French Quebec environment, it's very European culture. That's why I felt comfortable in Europe, because after living in these places,
it's very European.
It's very European, and so they have a lot. They really stress the arts in all ways: music and art, painting, photography. Now, also with a really artistic view of it. It's not just taking scenery. It's being really like Dave does with these pictures. I mean, they're very, very artistic.
Which could be a simple subject, but made in a very unique.
Yes.
Right. Well, I'm saying the subject matters of a lot of his things and other people's that I saw there were very simple. Like you know, just
like
anything.
a piece of snow, the one that he has up there.
Right, or just
a piece
you
of
know,
ice and a drain.
Just anything, but the way that you creatively look at it,
yes,
and then make something of it.
Yes, the artistic eye, and they seem to be more interested in that than
which is
sitting
why
watching
you have
TV.
like a Robert Lepage in Quebec.
Yeah,
because that's exactly what that is.
that's true.
So anyway, so it's nice to visit Quebec, and it was nice to see the old hall where you used to play and where we used to be as kids roaming around.
Yes.
And I used to always ply the brass players to get me free candy bars out of the backstage candy bar thing, and I always got them to give me one.
That was nice.
Well, they always like the Kenny kids. So.
Nice atmosphere there.
Yes,
Very
and so
nice.
you played in the orchestra there for how many years?
I don't know,
Off and
16
on?
or something.
And how many conductors did they have the time you were there? Bernier?
Yeah, they had.
A lot or not?
Well, he was kind of the main, the older. What's the older one from the Met that was there that we talked about before?
Pelletier?
Pelletier, yes, and then Bernier, and then there was James de Priest. There was Pierre Dervaux from France.
They were all there when you were there?
Yeah, and there was
as actual
conductors.
Main
Yes, right, and there was one more. I don't remember.
How long was James de Priest up there?
2, 3 years, 4 maybe. Yes. Pierre Dervaux was quite something because he was from France. He is from Paris, so, you know, Quebec is not Paris. The atmosphere, I mean, all he did was make fun of everybody. And he certainly made fun of the English. And, of course, a lot of the Americans in the orchestra didn't understand his humor or understand him because he always did it to the side. He had a couple of these viola players, young girls that were his pets, you know, and he's always making snide remarks. Oh, they were always running around being gophers and everything for him. And he was always making snide remarks to them about everybody in the orchestra. He was something.
That's Paris, which is a whole other thing.
Yeah, I mean, they appreciate
Paris
the
is
music.
not Quebec. Just for
no,
your
and of course he
information.
felt very above everyone else there.
And, well, because the French look above the Quebec.
Well, certainly, and the language of the Quebecois is not Parisian either.
The accent.
Even though in your schools you learn Parisian French, and that's why Alan could pass as a French because he had a Parisian French accent when we went to Venezuela.
But then you have Brian with the
the Quebecois. No, but he didn't learn. He learned it on
working at the hotel.
Working with other people that were local.
Because
so that
when you
made
go
a big
in northern
difference.
Canada, in Quebec, that's
extreme.
Their accents get thicker and thicker as you go.
That's exactly right.
Which is interesting to hear.
Oh yes, it is very much.
So, well, like in how I went and saw the whales. We'll end on the whales. So you go to Quebec and you see all the culture and you eat the bouche de Noël and you go see the Chateau Frontenac and you enjoy the orchestra of Quebec and you see the art of Quebec and then you drive up to Tadoussac and you see the whales.
The whales of
Quebec. Because in the summer, the whales of Quebec. Because in the summer, all the whales come and that's the Saginaw meets the St. Lawrence. Saguenay?
Yeah, Saginaw is a river in Michigan.
Okay,
yes,
Saguenay.
It ends with a W. This is Saguenay.
Meets the St. Lawrence in the little town of Tadoussac. And if you want to get across to the other side, you have to take a ferry because the main highway ends.
And no bridges.
No bridges, which is really interesting in this day and age. Anyway, so the whales are up there, and I got to see the whales by sitting on the rock for over an hour and finally seeing some. So I saw beluga, and I saw another big one, and I'm not sure what it was. So we will end on the whales. No, I don't think it's humpback.
Yeah.
So that's
you
our
said there
little
were
view
7
of
different
Quebec.
kinds there. Right?
There were at least 7 big kinds of whales.
So we're being a tourist agent here for Quebec because
which is my childhood.
It is a really beautiful place and it's very interesting.
Artistic.
Yes,
the point
it's
is
very
artistic
and musical.
And you can go see Robert Lepage and his show. So
that's right.
I'm Kathleen of Quebec.
And I'm Charlene of everywhere.
Of Quebecois.
And other places too. So.
Adopted Quebecois.
Yes, that's right. All right.
We'll be back with a whole bunch more
au
because we're back to it.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Au revoir.